Relax now. Let your shoulders sink just a little deeper into your pillow. Feel the warmth around you, like a blanket of evening air gently wrapping itself around your body. Outside, imagine the wind brushing through tall grass. Somewhere nearby, a small fire crackles softly in a stone hearth. You are safe, you are calm, and your mind is ready to drift. Our story tonight begins in a peaceful meadow at the edge of a medieval village, where golden ribbons flutter in the breeze and flower petals scatter gently across the path. It is the morning of a wedding. Long ago, when church bells marked time and candles lit every doorway, weddings were more than just ceremonies. They were entire village gatherings filled with music, bread, and whispers of blessings passed down through generations. The bride, dressed not in white, but in her finest dyed wool, walked slowly through the garden where herbs were picked not just for scent, but to symbolize loyalty and peace. Lavender, rosemary, and sweet marjoram float in the air. A soft chorus of lutes and flutes echoes over stone walls. All is gentle, all is well. Sleep. Now, you are there, listening to the hush of medieval joy. Let us gently drift deeper now. You're still safe, still warm. The hush of twilight cradles you like a lullaby. Close your eyes and breathe, in slowly and out softly. Let every breath carry you closer to a world long ago. Our story today sets sail in the late spring of a forgotten century, when ivy curled around chapel stones and the scent of freshly baked rye filled the air. Thatched roofs glow gold under the early sun, and smoke curls from chimneys into the pale morning sky. Chickens cluck softly in their pens, and a cartwheel creaks as it turns lazily through the mud-packed streets. It begins at a small village tucked between the rolling hills of the English countryside. Her hands are washed in rose water and dried with cloth embroidered by her grandmother's hand. Today is no ordinary day. Today is a wedding. The entire village has been stirring since dawn. For in the medieval world, a wedding was not just a private exchange of vows, it was a holy joining of families, lands, fortunes, and futures. Eleanor's dress is dyed in deep burgundy, the color of crushed berries, a shade that whispers of love, courage, and rooted tradition. Children scatter petals from baskets woven of straw. The baker lays out oatcakes and honeyed pastries, while an old musician tunes a hurdy-gurdy beneath a blossoming apple tree. The bride, Eleanor, wakes in her family's timber-framed home, her heart fluttering like the linen curtains catching the breeze. There is no white dress. In those times, brides wore their best gown rich green if their family was prosperous, or soft grey blue for modest means. Before the formal ceremony, couples would often share a hand-fasting, a ritual in which their hands were bound together by a silk cord or ribbon. This ancient custom, older than the churches that now rise around them, symbolized unity and promise. Her hair is braided with ribbons and tiny herbs, lavender for devotion, sage for wisdom, thyme for courage. Outside, villagers hang garlands of flowers between wooden posts, the kind that reaches into the marrow of the earth. As you listen now, imagine walking slowly through that village. Each step is soft over sun-warmed cobblestones. There is no silver, only clay cups and wooden spoons, but everything shines with joy. Each breath carries the scent of mead and rosemary, of smoke and spring. You hear gentle laughter, and far off, a bell tolls. In the medieval world, marriages were as much spiritual contracts as emotional bonds. There is goat cheese wrapped in herbs and little pies filled with spiced apples. Ale flows freely, carried in jugs from the brewer's cottage. Under the soft blue sky, Eleanor and her groom, Tomasa Carpenter's son, stand before a small crowd gathered near the stone chapel. The priest speaks softly, invoking blessings in Latin, while the couple holds hands, is calloused from tools, hers soft from weaving. There is a stillness as the cord is tied, not just silence, but a deep and sacred quiet, the kind you feel in your chest. The villagers bow their heads. Then, a kiss, brief, bashful, and sweet, and with it, the ceremony is sealed. The feast begins shortly after. Imagine long wooden tables draped in simple cloth, set outdoors beneath fluttering pennants. Roasted vegetables, fresh bread, and dried fruit line the tables. Laughter hums like bees in the fields beyond. An elderly woman rises to tell a blessing, an old tale, passed down for generations, that love is like bread. It rises best when warmed. It holds its shape only with care, and once shared, it never truly runs out. The bride laughs, her cheeks glow. Her fingers curl lightly around her husband's. Let yourself drift with her now. Imagine the sun lowering gently, casting gold upon the fields. Imagine the music softening as twilight arrives, viols and flutes weaving a gentle melody through the cooling air. The sky darkens to lavender and rose. Lanterns flicker with beeswax light. As dusk deepens, Eleanor and Thomas share their first night, not in a grand castle or lavish bed, but in a modest room above his father's workshop. There, tucked beneath woolen blankets, they whisper dreams of the farm they hope to build, of the children they may one day raise, and of the quiet joy in simply waking beside one another each morning. Outside their window, the wind stirs the ivy. A single candle burns low on the table beside them, and all is still. All is well. Sleep now. Let the bells of their union echo faintly in your heart. Let the hush of the medieval world carry you gently to your dreams. Let's return softly now to the village bathed in dusk. The breeze has slowed, the stars have begun to bloom above thatched rooftops, and your body, so relaxed, so weightless, floats between the hush of history and the stillness of sleep. Our story drifts onward, like a feather on evening wind, back to the village where Eleanor and Thomas have just joined their hands and hearts in the sacred tradition of medieval matrimony. You can hear the soft clinking of wooden cups being stacked, the distant hum of an old man singing a lullaby he once heard as a boy, while the guests begin to retire, some to hay-filled lofts, others to straw-stuffed casa. Air remains warm with the memory of joy, while lords and ladies celebrated their unions in grand banquet halls filled with candlelight and harpsichord music. Most marriages like Eleanor and Thomas's were intimate, earthy, and simple, and far above the moon round and sarin watches over all. In the world of medieval weddings, customs varied not only by region, but by class. They were unions woven from shared bread, whispered hopes, and faith that the seasons would be kind. In others, the groom would gift the bride with a belt or tokens of shared responsibility and protection. Faith that sickness would pass their home. Faith that love, quite patient and steady, would grow like ivy along stone. In some villages, a bridal cup was passed around a shared vessel from which both bride and groom sipped sweet wine or spiced ale, symbolizing unity and equality. But no matter the tokens, no matter the language of the vows, the spirit of every wedding was the same. Together, from this day forward, through summer and snow, through harvest and hunger, through laughter and silence. Now imagine Eleanor, hours after the feast, wrapped in a woolen shawl, standing barefoot at the edge of a moonlit stream just beyond the chapel's stone garden. The cool earth beneath her feet is damp with dew. She looks into the water and sees her reflection soft, quiet, and forever changed. There was an old belief, passed from midwife to daughter, that if a bride saw the moon in water on her wedding night, she would dream of her firstborn child. Eleanor smiles and closes her eyes. The stream gurgles gently, like a lullaby. He watches the wax trail down like honey, and in that small, glowing moment, he feels peace. And as the breeze stirs the hem of her gown, you can almost hear the whispered wishes of all who came before her, and all who will follow. It was its beginning. Let your mind now wander to the chapel where Thomas kneels alone before a small carved altar. He is not praying for riches or only for strength, for a good harvest, for a kind life. Behind him, beeswax candles flicker and irons. One leans slightly, melting slower than the others. A medieval wedding was not the end of a love story, a pledge, a promise, a door opening. And as you rest, imagine the tapestry of life that will unfold for them. They will sow barley and pluck turnips from the frost-hardened ground. They will mend boots and cradle chickens. They will sing in spring and burn sweetwood in winter. And each year, on the morning of their wedding day, Thomas will lay a sprig of rosemary on Eleanor's pillow, as she once braided it in her hair, a symbol of remembrance, a soft, eternal "I do." Breathe now gently, as if you are lying in their cottage, warm beneath wool and woven blankets, the scent of firewood and pressed lavender on the air, the sound of a soft wind brushing against the shutters. You are safe, you are warm, and the love that bloomed in that faraway time still echoes in the quiet of your heart. Sleep now, dear one. Let the chapel bells grow quieter in your mind. Let the petals fall around you, soft as snow. Let the gentle hum of ancient joy carry you all the way into dream.